I have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find. Who were the precursors? Why did they create the vast monoliths that litter our planet? How did they harness eco, the life energy of the world? What was their purpose? And why did they vanish? I have asked the plants, but they do not remember. The plants have asked the rocks, but the rocks do not recall. Even the rocks do not recall.
Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, is a masterpiece of early open-world jump-and-run games that solidly holds itself even by today's standards. And in this video I will show you exactly why in great detail. But if you know the series, you know I will not just simply talk about the game and levels, I will also talk about strategies, share side notes, fun facts, lore and literally anything there is to know about this game to make you the ultimate Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy expert.
Look, old man, are you gonna keep yapping or are you gonna help me out of this mess?
I'm gonna keep yapping, because in my professional opinion, the change is an improvement.
So due to Daxter mistaking the dark eco vat with a bubbly whirlpool, he has now become something we call an otzel. Obviously, Daxter absolutely despises being a furry, so the two heroes ask the green eco sage Samos for help. Samos explains that he couldn't help Daxter even if he wanted to, but he knows someone who maybe could, the dark eco sage who lives far, far to the north. So the two of them take off with the goal of turning the otzel back into a human. Now we are the first time in control of our characters. We play as Jak, right here at Geyser Rock. This level is the first area of the game and basically acts as the game's tutorial stage. Here you can jump, you can punch, also the green eco.
That's blue eco, which
I mean you could,
contains
if
the energy of
they
both.
weren't busy telling you. Anyway, the Precursor Legacy has a lot of collectibles to pick up. There are countless Precursor orbs, power cells and 7 scout flies in every area. If you pick up all 7 scout flies, you'll be rewarded with another power cell. Power cells basically act as the threshold you need to collect to access the next plot advancing area. And here is where we get introduced to Blue Eco. Blue Eco basically turns you into a magnet with ADHD who can also power piston doors like Minecraft. But wait a minute, we keep talking about eco and eco sages and stuff, but what actually is this eco? Well, eco is basically the source material this world is running on. There's green eco, which heals you, cures diseases and basically represents life. There's blue eco, which I just explained, dark eco, which is really volatile, destructive and transmuting. Only very few people understand what it can do and is capable of. But there are also 3 other types of eco, I will tell you about them when they naturally come into the game. So back to the Geyser Rock. Using the blue eco, we can open this door and power this floating platform which takes us to the end of the level, where we activate this portal frame to jump back to Samos. Geyser Rock featured 7 scout flies, 4 power cells and 50 precursor orbs to collect. This is Samos' hut, aka the Green Sage's hut. Over the course of the game, we will travel to each sage's hut and activate their portals over there. Those will allow us to travel between the areas. Here's the first little fun fact. This plant in the corner is from another game of Naughty Dog's, Crash Bandicoot. Under Samos' hut is Kira's garage. Kira is Samos' daughter, the mechanic girl and also Jak's love interest. Ooh.
Hey, baby. What do you say you and I go cruising on this A-Grav Zoomer?
Rule number 1, I don't date animals.
You don't know what you're missing.
6, 7, I just bit right on the highway.
Now let's talk about where we actually are in the world we're in. This is the game map. There are 4 main areas which contain one of each eco-stage's hut. Branching off from those areas are 3 or 2 side areas, where you are meant to collect precursor orbs and most importantly power cells from. You need those to traverse through the canyons which are connecting those areas with each other. Something really special and something I love to see every time it happens in this game, like the Dark Souls titles for example, is areas being visible from anywhere. Just like you can see the undead settlement from Lothry Castle, you can see Misty Island from Samer's hut and many other areas all over the world. But right now we are here, Sandover Village, our home village, where we grew up. This area is chill. There are no enemies and no difficult jumps here, just people and their houses. Those people will give you quests to earn your first few power cells. What's incredible about this is that the game's music is reactive towards which house you're currently in. This is so cool, this is so inventive and so revolutionary to games. And yet, I genuinely cannot name a single other game that did this apart from the Jak series. It's really sad to see that we lost what we came from, or essentially traded immersive creative features for skins.
No shot, he got a fucking pussy pattern. FedEx
Like
909.
would be streaming right now.
No shot, no shot.
But back to the game. This guy right here is Jak's only known relative, his uncle. He wants to trade you a power cell for 90 precursor orbs. The mayor wants us to reconnect the blue eco power grid, which for some reason comes from the jungle to power the village again. The sculptor needs our help to get his muse back from Misty Island so he can be inspired again. And then there's the bird lady, which I forgot to record, but we'll see her later. Sandover Village features 6 power cells, 7 scout flies and 50 precursor orbs. A nice relaxing beach with an awesome soundtrack. But be careful, because there's a lurker shooting live exploding sex from this random tower at you. But actually they're pretty good for breaking those metal crates which hold more precursor orbs. The enemies here include sandworms, dogs, crabs and lurkers. Look, there are some
Seagull!
on this platform. I wonder what would happen if we shoot them up.
Wow! They caused an avalanche!
Oh, that makes sense. Speaking of birds, this pelican stole my power cell. Punch him to make him puke it out and race him to get it back. Now, while you're up here, why not clear Samer's green eco farm vents from those rocks? He will reward you with another power cell. At the end of this path is a giant egg, which is convenient because all this jumping and fighting made me very hungry. I could use an omelette. So we push it from the edge and
Good job. Now meet me down here by the egg.
yeah, that's why I did that. See? This is the bird lady I was talking about, and she introduced us to the Flood, which will be very useful to us in the future.
Oh no! No!
Anyway, we're done with this beach for now. We'll come back later. Sentinel Beach featured 7 scout flies, 7 power cells and 150 precursor orbs. Entering the Forbidden Jungle. But not before talking to this old dude in the transition area, who wants us to get on Peter's watch list for another power cell, so fine.
That lazy farmer owes us a power cell.
Ah, well done, my boy. You actually got those flea bags back into the pen. Now I can sleep in peace. Take this power cell for your trouble.
Up over these rock formations is a ledge with a precursor idol on it. He will treat you with lore and 2 power cells for 120 precursor orbs each. Anyway, the Forbidden Jungle is a green, lush and vibrant environment. Who would have thought? It's basically 2 plains divided by a ravine with a river running through it. Oh, and also this big precursor temple with this weird floaty thing on the tower, which is never explained what it even does or is. The enemies here include Snake.
Snake, answer me! Snake! Snake!
The usual lurkers, Spiky Frog, Baby Shark and Hentai. Let's begin with the fan favorite NPC, who is located right below this bridge. He's the village's fisherman, and he wants us to catch 200 pounds of fishies. In exchange, he will let us use his boat, which we need to cross the ocean and reach the Misty Island. It's the same boat we already drove in the intro, by the way, so why bitch now? Normal fish weigh 1 pound. The big gold ones 5 and the eels mean game over if you catch them. Another fun fact, in German the fisherman has an Hamburg accent.
Flussfische zu fangen. Kriegst eine Energiezelle von mir, wenn du 200 Pfund von den Viechers fängst.
Which every German instinctually associates with captains or fishermen. So, well played I guess.
Aber sicher doch, ich bin 2-mal um die Welt gereist. Ich bin immer noch Captain CV. Ich habe das Patent 1, 2, 3, die 6.
Anyway, catch the 200 pound, unlock his boat, and now we can travel to Misty Island later. Because for now, we're busy with restoring the village's connection to the power grid. We achieved this by destroying the huge mirror the lurkers put to redirect the blue eco beam. But for some reason the beam is still not aligned correctly, so we have to connect it to more and more mirrors to reflect it back at the windmill. And now you can collect the mayor's power cell. Why couldn't we just point it there directly? I don't know. But why not check out the big temple in the middle of the jungle now? We can access it by stepping into this blue eco fountain and activating the blue eco powered bridge.
You're a wizard.
Jak.
Now in here, your first step would be to get at the top of the tower, which Daxter just said.
We need to get to the top of that tower.
Up here is another power cell and an elevator to take you down into the temple inside. You'll notice there's a door here, which you can't open right now. So you take the other path across more floaty platforms. At the end of this corridor is an eco switch, one of many actually, but this one in particular activates blue eco fountains across the world, including over at the Sentinel Beach, which now allows you to climb the tower, pay back the lurkers, hi Jak, their cannon, and fire explosives at more metal crates to get more precursor orbs. Now back to the blue eco temple in the jungle.
Yo! Loads of toads! Welcome to the jungle! Thanks for subscribing!
Turns out, now you can access through the door and encounter the game's first boss, the Dark Eco Flower. The boss is pretty easy though. It will periodically lunge at you, spawn green spiky bugs, which will be attackable after they retract their spikes, otherwise they will just hurt you if you touch them. Once you squished all the bugs, the plant will grow some more leaves, which you can use to jump up to it and punch it in the face. After 4 cycles, the plant will drop, and as a side effect, all the spiky tentacles on the surface will too. However, here are some precursor orbs which can easily be missed, so make sure to violate its corpse some more for money. Alright, now that we cleared the forest which had 7 scout flies, 8 power cells and 150 precursor orbs and unlocked the fisherman's boat, we can travel to Misty Island where we were supposed to rescue the sculpture's muse, remember? Now another fun fact. Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy was the first open world 3D platformer ever without loading screens. How did they achieve this? By overplaying the loading screens with clever cutscenes like these. Now welcome to Misty Island. Misty Island acts as one of the Lurker's bases and a research point for Dark Eco. It's shrouded in thick mist and overrun by countless Lurkers, such as the usual suspects, armored Lurkers and blimp Lurkers. And also frogs. I forgot the frogs in the script, but there are also frogs. This is also the very same island from the intro cutscene, and in a minute you'll also see the Dark Eco basin Daxter fell in earlier, which kicked off this whole thing in the first place. But now we've talked so much about Dark Eco, why not talk about the Dark Eco Sage for a bit too? This being Goal Archeron and his sister Maya Archeron. The two of them were just ordinary people before the events of the game, but despite Samos' warnings, they weren't careful enough studying the Dark Eco. The long exposure turned their skin purple and drove them mad. Now they plan to flood the whole world with Dark Eco, with the help of the Lurkers. A quick fun fact about them, their names come from the design software Naughty Dog used for the game, called Goal and Maya. Okay, but our characters don't know that yet. We're here for the sculpture's muse. So we chase this small colorful creature across the first third of the island, until we catch it. We can now trade it in for another power cell. Advancing to the second third of the island, we come across a new kind of eco, that being Red Eco. Red Eco is pretty straightforward. It just stands for power and makes you become stronger, meaning instead of 2 hits you just need 1 hit now for the armored Lurkers. A cool added bonus is immunity to Dark Eco explosions. See these tall ribs poking out from the ground? You can actually break them, which will make them function as a makeshift bridge.
Oh, my leg!
You don't really need those, but hey, it's possible, so why not? At the end of this quick jump and run section is another blue eco door, which will lead you into a large arena, where you'll be ambushed by lots and lots of Lurkers. Luckily, they will also drop some red eco, which will make fighting them easier. Should you struggle fighting them, here's a quick little trick. Just jump and spin kick repeatedly. It makes you near invulnerable while you still dash out. Now let's talk about how to crack those boxes. If you go left from the pier you set foot on this island from, you'll see a large sea area and a pretty cool jump and run section leading up this wooden ramp pier thing. Up here, dispose of the cannon operating Lurker once more and shoot the boxes, revealing more Precursor orbs. But let's get back to the sea area. Mount the zoomer on the telepad and cruise over the sea. If you wanna earn another power cell, do the Christmas market strategy and crash your vehicle into the Lurkers. Run everyone over and you'll receive the power cell. Misty Island featured 7 scout flies, 8 power cells and 150 Precursor orbs. Oh, sponsor time! Just kidding, I'm below 800 subscribers, so no one would want to waste their money on me. But instead, I will just promote myself. I'm trying to grow a community and you can help me to do so by joining my Discord Ghost Town, which has about 3 whole members right now, where you can pitch me your video ideas. For example, new let's plays you'd like me to do, or more videos like this one about your favorite games. You can also just chat with me on there if you want. Also, I got an even more dead subreddit and an Instagram page where I post behind the scenes stuff. Okay, that's it. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so back to Jak and Daxter. By now, you should have collected enough power cells to power the zoomer over at the fire canyon. However, the zoomer's heat shield can only take so much, so you should try to pop through the cool air balloons to cool off your vehicle once in a while. The other option is, well, death. And while you watch me cruise through it, let me tell you about how fun it is to do so. Steering the zoomer is so responsive, it zooms at the perfect pace, not too slow and not too fast. The small jumps you can do on it add to the fun, even though right now they're not even needed. Sound design? Also peak. I don't know, the Jak series just always handled its vehicles perfectly. Doesn't matter if it's a hovering car, a driving car or an animal. It's just always so dynamic and yeah, just great fun. Maybe I'm just glazing too much here, but come on, prove me otherwise. The Fire Canyon featured 7 scout flies, just 2 power cells and 50 precursor orbs. Next up is Rock Village. Rock Village is the first major village after Sandover. It's a really pretty one at that, with lots of water and nice architecture, but it has a slight problem. It's being assaulted by a lava-immune rock-throwing giant lurker named Claw. And he's doing exactly that, throwing burning rocks around. Don't try to touch them, because you'll get burned. But since you're already here, you might as well activate the teleporter at the Blue Sage's hut and call Samos and Kira over.
Whoa! I don't think I'll ever get used to that teleporter tingling sensation. Hey! It looks like the Blue Sage threw a party.
Oh my! Rock Village is on fire!
One heck of a party.
No, I mean Rock Village is being bombarded with flaming boulders. Oh, and it looks like the Blue Sage is working on a levitation machine to move them. Assuming it's operational, we're gonna need power cells to fuel it. I guess you two are going to have to find some more.
Yeah, so Kira needs more power cells to lift this heavy rock blocking the way to Claw, who we want to slay and save the village. Leading down the path to the left, we encounter the geologist, and she's currently studying the burrowing habits of lightning moles at the Precursor Basin. However, now that the lurkers have infested the Precursor Basin, the lightning moles became scared and fled to the surface. The problem is that those creatures are blind as bats, so the geologist wants us to guide them back into the burrow for another power cell. So now we've got the first quest for the new side area, the Precursor Basin. However, the geologist also trades us another power cell for 90 orbs.
Is a power cell we agreed upon.
Still, there are more reasons to come back to the Precursor Basin. There are still those lurkers who scared the lightning moles in the first place, and we can dispose of them by ramming them. Catch all 4 of them out of the air and you've earned yourself another power cell. But we're still not done here. Over in this corner of the basin is a patch of dark eco plants. We have to make them disappear by spraying them with green eco. Fun fact, this is also the only green eco vent which fills the eco gauge. Once you've sprayed all the dark leaves, a flower will bloom and reward you with power cell number 3. Now on to power cell number 4. For that one, you have to absorb a ring race. How does it work? Easy. Fly through the first ring. This will trigger the next ring to spawn with a timer. Run through all those rings and earn your power cell. Fly too slow and the rings will disappear and the challenge will have failed. But there's even another ring race which is much more difficult than this one. You can begin the ring race by jumping through the first one and follow the rings as usual. However, there's this ring which you have to jump over a rock for, which can prove quite difficult and will annoy you every time you fail it. Now, for the final power cell of the area. Talk to the gambler first. I'll tell you about him in just a sec. He will unlock the racetrack for you. The track is cleverly designed with moving precursor pistons, blue eco orbs to make you faster and a few lurkers. Run into these lurkers and they will launch you high into the air. Now, once you've beaten his time of 45 seconds, you'll have earned the last power cell of the basin. Another neat thing is that you can keep on beating your own record again and again. The game will save the time for you. The Precursor Basin featured 7 Scoutflies, 8 power cells and a whole 200 Precursor Orbs. Alright, now on to the main hub area of the Rock Village, I'ma call it. Here we can find the earlier talked about Gambler and the Warrior. Now fun fact, the Japanese voice actor for the Warrior was a little too into his role.
我はかつて強かった。いやさ、比類なきヒーローであった。片手でちょいとこの村を守り抜き、しかもやってくるモンスターどもをちぎっては投げ。勇猛果敢な我は鎧をきらめかせつつ丘に登り操めとは一騎打ちのだが、我々の尊敬する青の賢者マスターオブブルーエコー、またの名をメカニックの天才賢者が30トンの大岩をも動かす機械を発明したのだ。
Also, you don't really need his bridge at all. If you're quick and careful enough, you won't even encounter the Lurker Shark. Now everyone who has played this game as a child surely remembers it. The increasingly loud heart thumping, the way you really can't do anything against this monster, and the fact that it just one-shots you was simply terrifying as a kid. But now, we can just have fun rage baiting him. Leading down the, well, not bridge, are 2 areas. One is the Boggy Swamp, and one is the Lost Precursor City, which we will explore first. Enter this Precursor Dome and let yourself be taken down deep below the surface of the ocean. You'll transfer through lost tunnels of glass, granting an opulent view of the ocean wildlife. Guys, this game is 25 years old by now. Isn't this just amazing by the time standard? I don't know, but I always was blown away by this site. Or this area in general. The atmosphere and the color palette is just awesome, I think. The enemies down here are lurkers as usual, double lurkers, pufferfish flying dragon lurkers, and
Beyblade, let it rip!
Anyway, be careful while swimming in the water down here, as it periodically gets electrocuted, or something, as electricity doesn't really exist in this world. Important is only that it's dangerous. Stay out of it. The first room is pretty straightforward. It contains a couple floating platforms, a shifting long platform, and some raising platforms. A lot of platforms, huh? Well, doesn't matter, you're gonna climb them all until you arrive at the next tube tunnel passage thingy. Beyond it are those really cool twin platforms which only move when you're standing on the water, which allows you to move them free to your will. But you only need them to get over here, so it's still pretty cool.
They ask you how you are and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
The next room is a little tougher. Basically, there are those 3 chambers with 2 scoutflies and 1 power cell. There are 3 buttons corresponding to each chamber. When pressed, the chamber will send its contents through a pipe, and you have some time to catch the item before it gets sucked up again and you have to redo the parkour. The scoutflies are pretty easy to get, but you'll have to play pretty precisely for the power cell. Beyond this room is another, which reminds me of something like a solar system. Lots of platforms orbiting the one in the middle, right? Well, There's a power cell in the middle, and be careful when trying to get it because the platforms around it try to knock you off. Okay, the next room after contains those Beyblade guys. You can lure them to break those precursor crates for you or kill them by dive jumping on their heads. To the right is a cool little puzzle for another power cell, and to the left is the main path. To the right you'll find those platforms which light up blue when you step on them. You'll have to activate them all in one go without stepping on one twice, because that would reset the puzzle. Once they're all activated, the door will open and grant another power cell. Now onto the left to continue the adventure through the lost Precursor City. Activate another button, raise the platform, get the next power cell and continue down this really cool slide, down to the next part of the area. I keep calling these areas, although I really want to call them levels because it feels more correct. However, I know people in the comments will correct me if I'd ever call them levels instead of areas. Well, once down here you can activate these weird spinning thingies with blue eco, which will power the large thing in the middle and open the door. But they are under a timer, so be quick. From here you can raise the chamber to the surface like the blue eco sage once tried himself, or take down the ride on another slide. Down here is yet another power cell and oh! You accidentally activated a switch, which makes the dark eco rise. Quick! Climb the spiraling tower upwards to escape, jump up the platforms, punch some lurkers, collect more orbs while you're at it, and take the leap for the jump pad up to safety. Now, return to the elevator and bring the chamber back to the surface to complete the lost Precursor City area. Once surfaced, you can now collect the final power cell on top of the chamber by climbing up the rock formations next to it. It featured 7 scout flies, 8 power cells and 200 precursor orbs. Next up, the Boggy Swamp. Why did I say that like that? Now the Boggy Swamp is structured like a continuous S-shape. It's just a path that's snaking its muddy landscape through a dead canyon. You can reach this place by jumping over the same floating platforms which led you to the lost Precursor City, just take a left this time. Now, this is the Boggy Swamp. The floor is muddy, the water is dark and toxic, and the area is overrun by rats, bats and the usual lurkers. Also yes, there are also frogs again, which I forgot to include in the script again. If you jump up this scaffolding, you'll have your first encounter with Yellow Eco. Yellow Eco can be used to shoot things. And that's about it for this type of eco. But the bolts are homing, so that's cool. However, this ability replaces your default punch, which I think is actually a downgrade. But hey, more range is good, right? Anyway, it's still useful for opening those pesky metal boxes full of precursor orbs. Scattered around this place are blue eco jump pads, with blue eco fountains always nearby. They will take you to small side alcoves, in which you'll have to destroy some rat nests or anchors for the lurker blimp. Oh, the lurker blimp? Turns out Goal and Maya found an arm of a huge precursor robot somewhere in the mud. They have sent the lurkers to go pull out the arm with the help of a huge blimp, which is held in place by those various boulder anchors around the area. Jump over thorny vines, spin on poles, use some more jump pads to catapult you to a little side area, and jump over piers until you arrive at this small open-ended cave. If you use the jump pad over here, you'll be launched into an ambush.
Look out, Jack! It's an ambush!
Defeating the ambush earns you another power cell. The next big thing that happens here is you reuniting with the Flood bird you rescued back at Sentinel Beach. But now you can ride this feathery friend. It runs faster, it flies and jumps higher, and it can do a plunge attack. You'll ride him around the scaffolding collecting orbs and power cells at the end. Now, what can I say about the Flood? Have you ever ridden a horse in like Skyrim or Fall of Avalon? Those games try to make horses feel realistic by making the horse's movement as rigid as possible. Yeah, that sucks. Meanwhile, the Flood feels like a block of butter in a hot cast steel pan. It's so smooth, so delicious, and so attractive. Anyway, a few steps further, we encounter another NPC. This being Boggy Bill.
You're my beautiful swamp. I own these here parts. Everything that doesn't sink into the mud, that is.
Judging by the smell, I'd wager your bathtub sank in the mud long ago.
What's a bathtub? Anyway, I got bigger problems now. Seems some nasty lurker varmints are grousing about, snatching everything they can get their grubby little paws on, and scaring away my pet hip hog, Farley. He's been missing for nigh on to a coon's age. I've been putting out his favorite snack, but those ornery swamp rats keep stealing them.
Now, let me summarize it for your little TikTok fried brains. Swampman has pet named Farty. Fun fact, he is a crossover between a hippo and a hawk, and is also the mascot of the bar in Jak 2. Farty ran away. Swampman then laid out treats to lure Farty back. But oh no! Lurker rats also like treats. So if Jak can make them magically disappear, so Farty can return, Swampman will reward us with another power cell. Once you did that, move on for the final boulder anchor thing. This will finally cause the lurker blimp to lose its hold and make it drift off, which in turn makes it lose the Precursor robot's arm, saving trouble from future. You'll also get another power cell for that. Now, what's pretty cool is that if you continue the walk through the cave nearby, you'll find that it loops back around to the very beginning of the area, making you realize you could have completed the whole area with just one skill jump the other way around too. The Boggy Swarm featured 7 Scoutflies, 8 power cells and 200 Precursor orbs. Alright, by now you should have gathered enough power cells to help Kira power the weird gravity-defying machine, lifting the scorched boulder, clearing the way to... Now Claw is a huge lurker, actually the largest lurker in the whole series, and to make it worse, he's immune to heat and lava and protected by some ancient Precursor gear. You might be wondering, how can such a strange thing even exist? Well, a deleted cutscene gives us a clue.
Those two could prove to be trouble.
Don't worry, dear brother. I'll dispatch my lurker army to deal with them.
Just make sure they don't get too close to our northern operations.
I doubt they'll get that far, but if they do, a surprise will be waiting for them in Rock Village.
So, you're going to let Claw out of his cage?
I think it's worth a risk.
Indeed.
Really?
The actual fight against him is consistent of 3 phases. The first being avoiding his boulders, which he throws randomly at the 3 platforms you're standing on. Once the last boulder cracks, it'll leave a blue eco blob. Pick it up and you'll power another Precursor bridge, with the big guy on the other end of it. Claw will hurl more boulders at you, treating you like a bowling pin.
Play on it.
Avoid all these, reach the yellow eco blob on the other end of the bridge and shoot the lurker. This will cause him to stumble and drop a boulder on his own head, dealing actual damage to him. Now, you'll be chased back by yet another boulder, and the cycle repeats itself perfectly. I really like the boss fight design, even if I don't necessarily like Claw as a boss, because the whole fight just feels natural. It's not the typical 2 or 3 phases boss with changing move and attack patterns. Claw doesn't hold his power back like your average anime villain or Melania, Blade of Michaela. No, it's just Jak as good as he is against Claw as good as he is, fighting in a perfectly looped cycle. Beat him 3 times and you'll have defeated him. And you'll be rewarded by, you guessed it, another power cell. Now you can move on to the mountain pass.
Relief. But there's no time to celebrate. Use your zoomer to navigate the mountain pass up ahead. Be careful. It looks like the lurkers have rigged the whole pass with explosives. When you reach the volcanic crater, be sure to visit the Red Sage's lab and activate the teleport gate so that Father and I can join you.
This time you're not racing to cool down, but racing lurkers to hinder them from blowing up the mountain pass. Now, not sure what much to say about this area other than being super fun. You kinda just try to race fast, don't crash into trees, bombs or walls, and definitely don't fall into pits until you crash into the lurker at the end with the fuse in his hand and run him over cold-blooded. Now, on the other side of the canyon you'll arrive at the Red Eco Sage's hut in the volcanic crater. But once again the Red Eco Sage is missing. I wonder why.
Body parts in those things. Holy yakkow! The Red Sage's lab looks worse than the Blues.
Well, it definitely looks as though there's been a struggle here.
I'd hardly call it struggle. Would you, dear sister?
Certainly not. The Red Sage gave up with so little effort. No fun at all.
Gall? Is that you? You've finally gone off the deep end, eh? And Maya, I told you the Dark Eco would affect you both. Nobody ever listens to old Samos. What have you two done with the Blue and Red Sages?
Don't worry about your colorful friends, you old fool. They're perfectly safe in our citadel. Our special guests.
They have graciously agreed to help us on a little project.
You were wrong, Samos. Dark Eco can be controlled. We've learned its secrets, and now we can reshape the world to our liking.
You can't control Dark Eco by itself. Even the Precursors.
Until now, we've had to scrape by with what little Dark Eco we could find near the surface. But soon, we will have access to the vast stores of Dark Eco hidden deep underground.
Not the silos.
Yes, the silos. They will be opened, and all the Dark Eco of the world will be ours.
But that's impossible. Only a Precursor robot.
Oh, don't look so upset, Samos. We've got big plans for you.
Oh, so that's why. Great. Now we have to save them. Well, but for now, we're at the volcanic crater, and just like the other main or hub areas, it branches off into 2 more side areas. One being the spider cave and the other being the snowy mountain area, which you can reach by this gondola Kira just repaired for you. However, before I'll take you there, I want to introduce you to 2 more NPCs who are currently working to get a gigantic diamond out of the wall.
Hey Gordy, I think we got visitors.
Now, just look at the character design. He's got a little canary bird in his bird cage, which he uses as a head. And the bird too wears a little mining head. Adorable. Also, here's a little real-life fun fact. Miners, like real-life miners, not Minecraft miners, not miner miners, which would be illegal. No, I mean the actual hard-working pickaxe-swinging, dirt-breathing miners. They actually used to take canary birds with them because a canary bird breathes really fast, like really fast. This meant the bird would quickly die when being exposed to poisonous gas, signaling the miners, uh-oh, danger time, we better turn back. So, that's just a small detail I wanted to point out. Whatsoever, you can trade in 90 precursor orbs for 4 power cells each. Now, 4 power cells richer, we can travel to the snowy mountain. Now this place is high and cold, and of course also overrun by various lurkers. We've got the usual but inexpensive Gucci, small jumping guys, machine operating lurkers and frozen popsicle lurkers. Here there are 13 precursor blockers. These you have to deactivate by jumping on top of them and not get bumped around by their force field. Deactivating all of them rewards you with another power cell. But the first thing you'll be able to do is follow up this snowy trail, dodging the big snowballs. Here's a red eco vent, and you'll need that red eco because to the left is a lurker trying to break out dark eco containers out of the ice. This guy however carries a shield which can only be broken through with the force of a red eco punch. There are 4 of them distributed around the snowy mountain, and if you game end them all, you'll receive another power cell. Another path leads you through a frozen cave over snowy platforms. You'll notice this eco vent there. Well, that's why we're here, to unlock yellow eco vents around the world. Behind the ice frozen cave is a frozen lake, and here the ice skating issue becomes apparent with those precursor blockers. Right after the frozen lake is another machine operating lurker who you'll need the red eco for. And just on the cliff's edge are more easily missable platforms leading down to a wooden fortress. But the platforms on the cliff's edge aren't the only well hidden platforms, because just behind those snowy covered trees is the entrance to the giant Grand Ice Cave. In here are lots of precursor contraptions that try to push you off into the dark abyss. Navigate past them, ride the hovering platforms and swing from poles until you arrive here, at the yellow eco vent switch, which conveniently holds another power cell too. Great, now you've activated yellow eco vent all over the world. Most importantly, in the spider caves down below, which we'll check out later. But for now, we'll have to find a way to lower the drawbridge of the lurker fortress. Pause. See that? That's another area we'll soon visit. How cool is it that we can see it from this far away? Past these 2 bridges are the last precursor blockers. Deactivate them all and you'll earn your prize. Now ride another floating platform and clear your path through the next ambush with the help of red eco. You'll drop out on the other side over here. You can now decide between jumping down or exploring this crevice here. For now, I chose the first option, because there's another scoutfly waiting for us and the last machine operating lurker. Punch him and collect the reward. Okay, now back to the crevice. This crevice will loop you back around to the beginning of the area, but with the difference that you now have opened the yellow eco vents. Use the power of the yellow eco to destroy more metal crates and earn another power cell as well as some more precursor orbs. Now, instead of climbing down the hidden platforms at the cliff's edge, we're gonna take a right and encounter our feathery friend again. With his help, we can navigate through a floating and timed parkour. At the end of it is another power cell, and finally the switch for the drawbridge. Luckily, a platform will appear to take you right back up. First thing you do in the fortress is climb the wooden scaffolding to the top. This is where you can collect some blue eco to power the devices on the ground and enjoy the Precursor rain. Now, to collect all the other not yet collected collectibles which you will wanna collect because you are a collector, you will have to absolve the parkour leading around the inner walls of the fortress. Around midway through, you can even activate a quick shortcut should you fail any of the very easy jumps. Now just a few more swings, jumps and collectibles until you can pick up the pre-last power cell of the area. The last one being the one from the scout flies, which the last one of them is over here. And just like that, you finish the snowy mountains. The area featured 7 scout flies, 8 power cells and 200 precursor orbs. So now take the gondola back to the volcanic crater and move along until you arrive at the minecart railway. One of them will take you right where you need to be, the spider cave. Unsurprisingly, there are big spiders and small spiders down here, but also the usual lurkers, giant centipedes and drill lurkers. The big spiders can tank either 3 hits from the side, which will make them dangle, 1 hit if you hit them with an uppercut, or 1 shot using the yellow eco. First thing to do in those depths down here is shoot the big centipedes. They restlessly crawl around the wooden pillars and tank 2 hits from the yellow eco. You'll navigate around this place by taking rides on the countless floating platforms, hoping you're standing on the right one to take you where you wanna be. Spiderweb trampolines to reach higher and jump ledges. There will be yellow eco vents at each vantage point. But be careful, as this time when you fall, the ground won't gently break your fall, but instead a pool of dark eco, which is really lethal in this quantity. Every time you clear a pillar from them, you'll be rewarded with precursor orbs, and for the last one, a power cell as per usual.
Nice.
There's another side area to this place right after more trampolines and scaffolding. Here, you'll be introduced to the drill lurkers. You cannot hurt them physically at all if their drills are spinning. Instead, you have to wait for them to exhaust themselves, which will give you the opportunity to one-punch them anyway. Now, here you'll be scaling another huge scaffolding parkour, with enemies, meat grinder traps, fire traps, falling platforms, elevating platforms and spinning poles. All of this is constructed around another huge precursor robot. And while I climbed this parkour, why not tell you about some more lore and facts surrounding this machine? Because I made a post on Reddit to give you guys the opportunity to be part of this video, and this is where I encountered this lore. Super Duper Fan 92 says, the Precursor Legacy design bible states that Jak and Daxter's planet was still under construction when the Precursors fell, explaining why so much Precursor machinery was left behind, especially the giant robots, which were used to literally construct the whole planet. This unfinished world concept is important throughout the series. The metalheads couldn't reach the planet until Jak 2 because its final rift gate was never connected to the wider network. The Dark Makers call it an unfinished world in Jak 3. And the Lost Frontier explains the brink as a result of the planet never being completed. Furthermore, Bluey states that the Precursor robot in the spider caves was actually meant to be ours. we were supposed to dig it out, and in Hub 4, an area which never finished development, he imagined we were meant to find parts to fix it, because the final battle was supposed to be a giant robot versus giant robot, as noted in the development diaries. Once you've reached the very top of the scaffolding and the precursor bot, you'll be able to collect another power cell. Another being just on the wall next to it, which is reachable by swinging around all those poles and power the platform here. The third power cell down here is just 3 trampoline jumps and a lot of smaller spiders away. To power through them, we need this yellow eco vent, which we just opened up by pressing the switch up in the snowy mountain. From here, you can make your escape by jumping up this jump pad. That'll take you right back to the previous section of the area. Next thing we'll do is destroy all the dark eco crystals around the place. To do this, you'll just have to touch them. There are 5 of them, here, 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 there and over here. Boom! Power cell unlocked. But since you're already in this dark place, why not explore it further? You can get yourself some light by hitting these light emitting crystals. At the end of this darkness is yet another power cell. Great! Now you've collected all power cells this place has to offer. The spider cave featured 7 scout flies, 8 power cells and 200 precursor orbs. But before you leave the caves, try to grab some yellow eco from this vent and sprint as fast as humanly possible to the cave's entrance to shoot this box. Wow, another power cell, who would have thought? Wait, you want even more? Ugh. Fine, then talk to this guy down here and get your daily dosage of lore dump. 120 orbs for each of the 2 power cells.
You have obtained another power cell.
Alright, but now you really should have collected all the power cells needed for Kira to fix up the zoomer to take you through the lava tube. Now, the lava tube is not to be compared to the fire canyon. Just as the name suggests, this is a true elevation. In size,
ooh, that's kind of small.
Difficulty,
choose difficulty, alright. Oh!
And even mechanics. Now suddenly jumping becomes more important. Yellow eco plays a role and the cold air balloons are back. Right off the bat, you're tossed into this big arena with a big machine in its middle. Now, you have to shoot the power spheres to open the door so you can escape while also being bothered with your vehicle constantly overheating. Yeah, it's not just racing like the average kid anymore. By now, you're required to have the skill set of a professional racist.
I'm a professional racist now.
What? No, hold up, racer.
Once all the power spheres have been demolished, you can take your leave. But the following path isn't going to be easy. You're gonna snake around wavy, uneven metal bridges, and don't you slip off, because that would mean instant death. Right after comes yellow eco into play again. Dark eco containers are being shifted around and you have to clear your path forward, shooting them. Then a really difficult jump. Luckily, their checkpoints are generous here. Not gonna lie, it took me some tries to hit the jump and don't slip off again. But once you've overcome this hurdle, it's smooth zooming from here. Just a few more dark eco barrels, a not so difficult bridge, and you've done it. The lava tube featured just 2 power cells, 7 scout flies and 50 precursor orbs. On the other side of the lava tube, activate the last teleporter and get your friends across.
Hey! Where's old short, green, and wrinkly?
This is terrible! father is missing. I think Gall and Maya may have kidnapped him as well.
Relax, sweetheart. I got everything under control.
Under control? Lurker armies continue to grow across the land. The sages have been kidnapped. Gall and Maya have gathered enough eco to complete their terrible plan. And to stop them, you're going to have to fight your way through their citadel.
Yeah. That about sums it up.
You've got to rescue my father before it's too late. And Jack, be careful.
Yeah, we will be.
What? Oh no! The green herbs puff in Ankh got captured. Well, good thing we're already here where they brought him to. Gall and Maya's Citadel, the final area of the game.
It's about time you two decided to show up.
Nice to see you, too. Do they have you mopping the floors now?
There's no time for jokes, Daxter.
So entering the Citadel, we are immediately confronted with what we have to do. Save the sages, and thus save the world from Gall and Maya. We are also greeted with the sight of the biggest Precursor robot in the entire series, and it's currently behind the force field. The Citadel only has two enemy types, the usuals.
Hi, welcome to Chili's. No.
And the jumpy ones. From here, there are 4 ways to take, each one leading to one of the sages. Apart from the spinning discs, there's also a newer obstacle introduced here, the color-coded jump pads. And I want to take a moment to appreciate their creative design. They come in 5 colors, yellow, green, red, blue and grey, the exact color of the sages we are trying to save. Plus the colorless one, I guess that's us or something. But once you touch the red, for example, all other red platforms will drop, meaning you only have 5 jumps to cross each bridge. This is a game mechanic I've never seen any other game adapt, and I've played a lot of games. Although I have to admit, almost none of them are jump and run games. So maybe I'm glazing too much here. But still, it's a super creative obstacle, and they preserved it for the final phase of the game, and they never used it anywhere else to keep everything fresh and fun.
Here's another example of a mechanical idea used once. And it won't ever be used again.
Oh, come on. If you've watched my other videos about the medieval franchise, you knew I wouldn't let Josh off the hook. Where's your video about Jak and Daxter, Is it too creative and original for you? Not enough reused assets maybe? Could it be? Anyway, the first path I took was the one to the Blue Sage. It ran through a room which looked like a cave with walls of fused metal. It had large wooden spikes, floating platforms, a jet burner and a bottomless pit below. So don't fall down.
A bit of help would be good!
This is how you're gonna unlock every power cell, by the way. Just destroy the energy cell powering the cage. No puzzles, just straightforward. Now, there will always be an elevator platform taking you back down and connecting you back to the platform you freed the sage from. And next, I chose to save the yellow eco sage. Yep, you heard me, the yellow eco sage. The guy whose complete part of the map got scrapped, but still has to exist for the plot. Now, to reach this guy, you'll have to take this path. Color bridge, platform, platform. Now you're in a vast, ominous looking room with gigantic pillars that tower out from the darkness. They're constructed from ancient precursor metal and glowing with an eerie yellow light, connected with each other by cables with the diameter of an elephant and... I'm drifting off the topic. Or maybe I was just trying to fill the footage with something interesting to say. Yeah, also you'll be jumping across this place with more moving blue eco jump pads. And there he is, the yellow eco sage.
Who would have thought I'd live to see the day when I needed to be rescued by a boy and his muskrat? I'm gonna give Gall and Maya a little payback for this embarrassment. Then we'll see about cooking up some muskrat stew.
Now take your platform down and go for the next one, being the red sage. The red eco sage's path is the most difficult in my opinion, because the spinning disc platforms are really tedious to jump across. There's also this big color-coded bridge, which will have you die if you shoot for all the precursor orbs in one go, and you're not a god at this game. It took me 2 tries to catch them all and reach the other side. Now the next challenge are mass shooting the small jumpy ones like you do in an American school. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Those will spawn indefinitely, so don't think you can beat them all and take the walk. No, you gotta shoot and go, until you reach yet another eco vent, being a red eco vent, and use that red eco to go berserk on even more jumpy lurkers. But don't worry, once you've destroyed the 3 energy sources, they'll stop spawning. Then, just 3 more jumps and you can save the 3rd sage.
You finally come to rescue me. Do you know how long I've been in here? What took you so long? And, what are your names?
I'm Daxter. He's Jak. He's with me.
Good job, Daxter. You're a real hero.
Now, let's go for Samos. Also, another quick fun fact, Samos and Gall are the only named eco sages, the other don't even have their own names. Oh, and you might think I made a mistake there, but no. Maya isn't even once referred as to being a sage too. She's quite literally just Gall's sister, but I think she qualifies for the position too in the end. Okay, now that I overbridged the footage with totally random but fun facts, we can meet Samos.
Good work, boys. You're real heroes now. I'll combine my green eco power with the other 3 sages, and together we'll open the shield door surrounding the precursor robot.
Yeah, that sounds like a good start. And then after you guys open that shield, what are you gonna do about the robot?
Nothing, Daxter. We have to keep the shield open. It's up to you 2 to figure out how to destroy the robot.
You're too late, Samos. Once I possess limitless dark eco, I will have the key to creation itself.
This is madness!
Madness? No, this is Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
Releasing that much dark eco will destroy everything we know. Just look what it's done to you.
It has given us a beauty beyond anything you could understand.
Beauty? Have you 2 looked in the mirror lately?
Just wait until we open the silos, little one. You think short and fuzzy is bad.
And to think you 2 traveled all this way for my help. Fools! Enjoy your front row seats to the recreation of the world!
Jak! Take the elevator up and stop that robot!
Okay, now it's finally time for the final boss fight against Gall and Maya in their giant precursor robot capable of shaping literal worlds. Gall and Maya's Citadel featured 5 power cells, 7 scout flies and 200 precursor orbs. And how are we gonna take them on? Yellow eco, that's about it. But don't get me wrong, I actually like this fight. So they are trying to open the dark eco reservoir with their bot. First, we shoot off their eye. They will then shoot you with a bomb you can avoid by jumping really high in the air. At landing again, you'll notice they'll have opened the reservoir just a bit more, and now they are changed their tactic to fight us by creating dark eco monsters. Defeat them, avoid the bomb by jumping, and go again.
No mercy!
This time they'll bombard you with red eco. Shoot them, jump to avoid the bomb, and fight again. It's a really nice natural feeling loop. At the final phase they'll just straight up shoot you themselves. But once you've countered this final phase too, we did it. We saved the world from being flooded with dark eco.
You just won't give up, will you? Eco, it does exist.
They must not be allowed to get it!
Light eco! That could be the stuff to change me back! Or it might stop that robot. Stay fuzzy, save the world. Choices. Okay, fine. We'll save the world, but do it quickly before I change my mind!
Do something!
Well, it looks like I may have been too hard on you boys. You do have what it takes to be heroes.
But Daxter, now we can't change you back.
Don't worry about me, baby. You know what they say. Big things come in small packages.
Jack, you have an incredible talent for channeling eco. Samos, you may have been right about this one after all.
And Kira, without your help and ingenuity, none of this would have been possible. Perhaps we've found another sage now that Gaul and Maya are lost.
Yes, Gaul and Maya. The dark eco probably destroyed them. Probably.
Ah, who cares? Bring 'em on! We can take 'em again, right, Jack? I said, right, Jack? Wow! Put it on ice, big guy!
And Jack got cockblocked by Daxter. Thanks. But like every good movie, there's an after credit scene in this game too.
Holy yakka! What could that be?
Wow! It's an ancient precursor door. It looks like it will only open if we fill all 100 holes with power cells.
Oh boy, here we go again!
What? There's a big door that'll only open if we collect all 101 power cells? So I came back with all the power cells needed. Let's see what's behind the door.
It's so beautiful.
By the precursors.
Yeah, they don't even show you. But it's alright, I guess. It's there to tease the next part of the series, so fine. Jak 2 is gonna take off right from that cutscene.
And that's it. We covered the whole game, went over theories, shared side facts and this and that. Now, this video took me over a month of daily editing and researching, so I hope I made something you liked. Remember, if you want me to cover your favorite games or just let's play them, join my Discord, I'll see you over there. If you still can't get enough of Jak and Daxter content, let me introduce you to the Rixer. I watch him sometimes speedrunning Jak, and he also has a speedrunning documentary series about Jak 3. If you just want more long-form video game essays, check out Pyrocynical's main channel or Majula. Those are some YouTubers I like to watch when I'm looking for videos like this one. And although they're much bigger than me, it can't hurt to shout them out. Alright, so ending a video is always kinda awkward for me, because I have always more to say, but I'm just gonna end